Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Today, Truth in the Trenches. And look who's back. My man, Cameo Williams. It's been a minute. I know you've been going through some personal things, but hey, I'm glad to see you back and smiling. And hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, it feels good to be back. I miss you, CC.
I miss you too, man. How you doing?
You know what? I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. So a few days here and there, you get you get off balance a little bit, but overall, I'm doing good and the family's moving forward.
Yeah, just always know that everybody's still around that you think leaves you.
Yes, amen to that. I've had some experiences. I won't even get into that, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I could tell you about some experiences too. We'll talk about it offline, but let's get into the show. And I really want to get into some thoughts today that you have. One, we're going to talk about AAU and the state of AAU. But first, I want to talk about. I just did a video talking about NIL and branding for players and which conference is the best setup for branding with new college players coming in. That and I want your thoughts on, do you think with NIL, I know there's revenue share, but with NIL, how important do you think that is to players now when choosing a college to go to?
Oh, I know it's. I don't want to say priority number one. If it ain't one, it's probably one B. Um, for the top. Because
Hmm.
that those are the ones that's really getting that level of money, right?
Right.
I think it definitely makes a difference. It's up there. I mean, when you go through everything, if someone says, "Oh man, it's a great fit here at Iona," and somebody else says, "Oh man, you can go to Radford and we give you $125,000," and you from where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? It's a big decision, and it's not just the players. It's not just the players. You have a lot more people coming in influencing that decision because of the NIL. And so demographics plays a part, family structure plays a part.
Yeah.
Uh, all of that influences it. So, with that being said, I think it's a high priority.
Yeah. And in the video, I talked about once they get to school or once they make that choice, picking a conference is important. You have your South Carolinas, your UConns, your USCs, your UCLA. But when you look at the the whole dynamic of media markets and how big a role media markets are within the college setting now for college sports, do you think that's key?
Um, yes. Yeah. I mean, like, how can it not be? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I do think it's key. I just think we're in a shift, and I do want to say this, and it's not directly on topic, but I also think that a lot of what we're hearing in regards to the topic is not factual. It's not something that people are even going to be able to follow through on. You know what I
What-
mean? In terms of, I'm talking going back to NIL.
Okay.
Going back to NIL, people won't be able to follow through on a lot of the promises, which is why you got NIL go. A lot of these deals are going to get denied.
You talking about through the new system that
Because
it has to get approved, right?
if people want to pay the money, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I can't just give you $500,000. There's got to be some deliverables, right? There's got to be some. You say, "Oh man, I'm giving you $500,000 for one post a month." Social media. It's probably not going to get approved. You
Yeah.
see, so
Yeah.
you gotta, and then what happens? And then what happens then? Like, because you're probably on campus already.
Yeah.
So then what do? Everybody don't have. Everybody's not USC. Everybody ain't got it. I can tell
Yeah.
you already. So anyway, I want to tap into that a little bit just because I've had some conversations on it with some GMs on that topic, and so we're going to see a shift coming. Just so you know,
With NIL deals, is that because of revenue share or just because
what a
it is
revenue
what
share,
it is?
what a revenue share is a revenue share. So that's the easy piece. It's the piece of NIL when I tell you I can. Because that's what we're talking about. Hey, how much are you going to get when you come here? What are we doing from the NIL space? And people are making promises. Schools are making promises that they cannot keep. There's no way. they can do it. And people are going to find out the hard way. So if that's going back to the other thing, if that's your top priority, some people are going to make some bad decisions.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. If I'm a kid and I come into a college, whatever, I'm getting recruited and I come into a school and I'm sitting with the people who handle NIL, right?
Hmm.
Their collaborate, what do they call it? The conglomerate or whatever.
Hmm.
And they tell me that brands are going to want to sponsor me because not just because I'm good, but because of the national media attention that
School gets.
your school can provide.
Hmm.
So going back to the top DMAs, right? So if I'm a school and I'm sitting in the top 10 DMA, what are the chances of brands being able to go to that NIL business
Right.
and saying, "Hey, yeah, we want to work with you because you're in a top DMA and you're going to get national attention." And we want, and you know what I mean? I'm trying to understand the whole, because I did this video and I'm trying to understand.
And define DMAs for our listeners.
Oh, okay. The DMA is the designated market area. So if you're sitting in New York, you're in the number one market area as far as coverage is concerned.
Mhm.
So if I'm sitting in the number one market, the chances of a branding deal getting applied are better than if I'm sitting in, say, like a
South
South
Dakota.
Carolina, which is a number 78 media market. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
when players are making their decisions, that's got to come into play because now GMs and NIL collectives, that's what I was trying to say, collectives can come together and say, well, we have national exposure because we're in this type of DMA.
Mhm.
And like the Big Ten, we're televised on not a channel you have to be attached to a cable network to. You know, we have Fox, we have CBS, we have NBC, and brands flock to that. You know what I mean?
So, and I definitely get what you're saying. I do think in college, especially with the social media and all the different streaming and different things, it definitely makes a difference. Don't give me, your LA, your Chicago, your Philadelphia, the big markets. It definitely influences things for all of marketing. We know this. I think some of the programs have some unique setups
Hmm.
that allow them to flourish, whether it's an iconic coach,
Right.
right?
Like a
Legend.
South Carolina, like a South Carolina. Even though they're 78 DMA, they might get the attention because of the power that Don Staley holds.
They're going to get
Yeah.
the attention, and they are, right? Um, because I think I look at somewhere like USC, which is you're in LA, right? Right.
Yeah.
I just saw Malia Samuels,
Hey,
Trojan.
Malia, what's up?
She
If you're
does
listening.
she does incredible. You know what I mean? She gets a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Um, and it also goes back to one, so the platform. So I think that's a better way of saying, the DMA, a platform of all these media businesses, conglomerates, opportunities and brands. It doesn't mean they're accessible
Yeah.
because they're there, right? So there are some things from the athlete side and school side, right? Is that school? Look at USC, definitely gets it done. LSU, small market,
Very
really.
small. Yeah.
Uh, but they have a whole NIL department, at the school. That's incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they do incredible. So I really think it comes down to, yes, definitely the market, but two, the people that are running it and pushing from that collective space for these athletes, then the athlete themselves, you know, who are they? What do they look like? Are they presentable? Do they have good or rating skills? Can they speak? All that is then going to come into play in addition to their athletic prowess or lack thereof. You know,
Yeah.
um, so all of those, it's so many different metrics, CC, that comes to they have to come to fruition for it to really explode for the player.
Hmm.
And prior to getting there, am I looking at those things? Absolutely, I am. So it's not just the area, it's the department if you have one, it's the city. Um, who are those people that are behind that actual program that support that program, those businesses? And I mean, LA, you got so much love, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but USC, I mean, of course I'm biased. That's an easy decision, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that it's a tightrope though, because, and I'm going to bring up something and people probably won't disagree, but it's truth in the trenches. It could hurt you and it could help you, right? As
Mhm.
far as your skill set is concerned.
Right.
And I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to get off of basketball for a minute and I'm going to bring up Caleb Williams, right? For USC,
Mhm.
quarterback for USC, who no doubt was a very good USC football player, made a lot of NIL money,
Big time NIL money.
big time NIL money. Now, a lot of people are saying that that could have gone to his head because of the year that he had last year, which I don't think last year was all his fault because I just think he had a terrible front line. And I'm not that big of a footballer, but I follow Caleb. I follow people that played for USC. But I watched the game the other day, and he just, I love Caleb, but I'm just wondering his senior year when he got all that love, did it go to his head, do you think? Or do you think that he just needs time to grow in the NFL? And I'm just saying that because I'm wondering if NIL can have a negative effect like it has a positive effect as well.
I think it's both. I think it is. I definitely think it can hurt because you're giving people professional money before they have professional expectations. Not saying
Absolutely.
not saying you don't have the expectations in college.
Yeah.
Different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you are still a student.
Yeah.
Do you
And
have
you're young. You're not even, your brain isn't even fully formed. You know what I mean?
not, it's fun. It's I was this ranked athlete in high school coming in and it's more of that, the attention the school's gonna get, and you may get a couple of deliverables. Like I don't even know what Caleb's deliverables were. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
That's different when you go to the pros
Yeah.
because you go into the pros with an expectation that you're here.
Yep.
Now you're with 35-year-olds, 32-year-olds, 28-year-olds, 31-year-olds who got families to feed and they're coming in there early and they have a different work ethic and a different expectation, right? They're not trying to look at you as a prima donna with your nails painted. They can give a damn about your NIL, right? We are trying to win a football game, right? Trying
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
you stopped at the same time. And
Yeah.
how about the deliverables or the performance?
Right.
And at some point, CC, at some point, everybody wants all the NIL now, and I think that's great. I think it is great for the sport. I think everybody um, benefiting and earning money. I think it's wonderful. At some point, it's going to read like this: Hey, CC, we want you. I'm willing to get $400,000 NIL. I got this company, this company. Hey, you can do a couple of posts, blah blah blah. But this is what I need. I'm expecting you to start. I'm expecting you to shoot at least 42% from three. You're a sniper. That's why we got you. Uh,
Hmm.
expecting you to have this defensive metric at the end of the year. You're going to get the opportunity to do so. If you do not deliver, then this is the money at this point. This is the money at this point going into next year. Now it's not really written
Yeah.
like that. It's
Yeah.
not, and that's what the pros are,
Yeah.
right? Looking it back and saying, hey, man, how's it impacting? Because those performative measures and metrics, as far as I know, those are not written in those contracts in college for the
Yeah. It's
and
just,
so that's different. That's different.
it's just interesting because I mean, I don't know, you with these players, these young players that aren't fully developed yet mentally, giving them $1 million,
They're
and
fine.
you know what I mean?
They're
I
fine
mean,
themselves in
oh,
college.
and they got to have a good unless they have a good surrounding, management, or like certain kids do. Excuse me, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen because all these players now making all this money when they get to the pros, like you said, and they have to face real dilemmas. I mean, we could talk about Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean? She got to the pros and she faced some real, dilemmas, some real challenges. And this year, okay, yeah, she got hurt. Was that the real reason why she stopped playing this season, or was it because she was having some real challenges? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that go into question when, you're entitled in college and then you get to the pros and you're not entitled. But yet you have all this money, so you think that you should be entitled, but you got to perform.
And like I think it even messes with the fabric and makeup of your team in college, right? In college, don't get me wrong, there's always a hierarchy on teams, right? There's always elite, maybe two good players, and everybody else is a role player. I get it. But now that's defined by money,
Yeah.
right? That's defined by money. The money's going to define the opportunity. You're going to get every, if I'm paying you $300,000, you're getting every opportunity to, I'm gonna say the word. You get every opportunity basically to succeed or screw it the hell up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Me as a role player, I'm not getting that opportunity, right? So we both got the same curfew and all that in theory, or do you? Or
Yeah.
do you? Because we all know you got to fly over here to New York for this photo shoot and practices. So you're gonna have some. I just think the fabric of the team and the team togetherness and the team being held to the same standard and rules, right? And guidelines is just different. I've heard a million stories, so I know that to be factual, and that's tough. I even know I won't say the school, but I will tell you offline. CC, I'll tell you.
Okay. Okay. Because
Uh,
I'm gonna ask you.
right, so I know some top 26s were looking at this school. And I talked to one, and she's updating me on everything. And she says, "Yeah, I'm not going to take an official visit, there." And I said, "Oh, I know you had a real strong interest. You're not even going to take the official visit. Like, what happens? They're not even about money. The family's not even about money like that, but they are about the respect. And a lot of people are looking at, hey, you gave Cece how much? I'm her co-host. I got 30 years experience. You gave me. It's like that. So they
Yeah.
look. I know one school that gave 65% of their revenue share to one player.
Wow.
So these other players, it quickly told you what they thought about you. The whole time they were like, "Oh, you're the top. We need you." Like, well, did you need me?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So think of, for you guys out there listening, when you hear these NIL numbers for any player, excuse me, revenue share numbers for individual players and what they're getting, think of it from a percentage standpoint. Think of it from a percentage standpoint. Let's just say, I don't know, the University of Cameo, we got a pot of $1 million. And CC, I want to give you 400,000.
Yeah.
You getting 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are I'm not getting another 5 star
Yeah.
unless some kind of way they just not tripping on money, not tripping on, because remember, it's when you talked about other people, it's the money and then how that gets sprayed across social media and phone calls and dick whipping on. And you come tell me, oh man, yeah, man, I committed to them and they gave me $25,000. I'm like, bro, you're a 5 star. What are you doing? Just
Yeah.
like, so they got to deal with all of that. So the possibility of you getting another 5 star when I've already given you 40%, how do you think that's going to play out, CC?
I think that's another reason why NIL is so important in this because revenue share, especially the way it's split up between the sports, football gets most of it anyway.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why NIL and the collectives and the brand deals are so important. The collectives that are on each campus, I don't care what campus that you're on, but the collectives that are on each campus have got to have brands locked in for these other stars that come in so they can balance that money out on the back end if they can't do it with the revenue share. I think it's so important that the collectives, and there are a lot of collectives that are tied to universities that aren't good collectives. They don't have it all together, whether they're a small school or a big school. So it's really important that these collectives that are on campus are really tying into brands that can make it work on the back end for these players. Because revenue share is not going to be the end all for a lot of these campuses.
It's nowhere near the end all. You got to be locked in to the one does at this point now, because everything is changing. It's so fluid. right?
Yeah.
Does your school have a GM? Do
Yep.
they have a collective department? Going back to location,
Hmm.
right? Opportunity, platform, the donors around there and their businesses and their
Donor. That's a big one.
right, right. How locked in, are you with them? Like everybody's not as locked in as they're saying on social media. I
Yeah.
know actually because offline, I'm talking to these schools and they're telling me like, man, Cam, we only got $150,000. You, I mean, I'm being
Yeah, I know. This is the way you say it, your facial expression, like said it.
I mean, like, and they're like, oh man, we got to come up. So then they'll ask me, well, what is someone? Do you know what so and so has in the conference? Keep that in mind too, everybody. Yeah, all these numbers aren't known for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like the NBA where you're like it's a salary cap. I know LeBron's getting this. I know Dellavedova's getting this.
Yeah.
Everything's not really known, right? You got to kind of have an ear to the street and talk to a lot of people and luck up into some information. So with that being the case, like the college kid goes, well, Cam, can you snoop around and find out what they have?
Wow.
And but I didn't snoop around. I just called. I just called the head coach, and I got a good relationship with the head coach. I just asked
Yeah.
um, because they've won that conference 4 years in a row, and so obviously these other people are like, what? In addition to the basketball, what else am I up against when I'm trying to get these recruits? What else am I up with? Like, how much they got? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what? Well, they had about 7 times more than what you had, right? And CC, it's hard. Everybody can talk about character and what they would do and morals, and it's about the fit. The money is now part of the fit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Money is now part of the fit. It's what it is. We can't run.
Money and location. And I didn't mean to cut you off. And I'm gonna say money and location. And here's another thing I'm gonna throw in there. We're not gonna get into this because it's a whole nother conversation. But it's money, location because of media markets, and three, healthcare. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna leave it at that. Healthcare,
Okay.
women, healthcare.
Oh, absolutely, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah. Because I just did a story on healthcare and women's sports and how important that's going to become if a woman athlete gets pregnant, while she's doing whatever sport she's doing, what state she's in matters. So
Hmm.
that's a whole nother conversation that decisions are going to have to, family, and that's a family decision, where the family might be saying, well, you better not be doing nothing anyway. But hey, accidents happen. And so that's another
Exactly.
family decision that's going to have to take part when your child is making the decision of what schools that they're going to go to. So it's all those things now. I mean, it's a lot going on in sports with money and NIL and branding and healthcare and location and all that kind of stuff. But I want to segue into our next topic, and to become a good player, right, and be able to get those looks in college, a lot of these players steer towards AAU ball or the circuit.
Hmm.
But I've been doing some reading, and some people are saying that AAU isn't all cut out what it used to be, because now you have players just showing up to games just trying to show out, and there's no fundamentals involved, there's no training involved. And so what is becoming the miss in AAU?
All right. First of all, it's a hell of a question, and for those who this may not be like their lane per se. So when we say AAU, we're talking club basketball, non-scholastic basketball. AAU itself, Amateur Athletic Union, they
Hmm.
govern some things, right? But club basketball, for the most part, is independent. I at least want to get that out there. So, club basketball, which is, people are traveling, they're getting under one roof. There's live periods. College coaches can come and watch. It's beneficial for the colleges because they can get under one roof. There's hundreds of teams, right? It's more bang for their buck. So, this
Right.
versus
Which we've talked about that before. So
I can fly one place. Okay, cool. So with that being said, I want to, at least for the people who did not know what that meant, we want to make sure we get that out there. I do think that the more money that's coming in, because it's coming into AAU level too,
oh yeah.
which as I speak, shout out to FBC. West Coast, who just got a deal with Puma that's about to, when people see the numbers on that, it's crazy, right? So there's money at that level. Now that there's money at that level, it's not like before. It's just a different model. We got to understand it's a different model. It's no longer, oh man, let me see who I can get here to play for my team locally and then take them on as a club team on a platform and see what we can do. So we're practicing 3 days a week, right? Um, I value skill development, right? So I'm doing the individual development as well as my team development, right? So we have those.
You personally.
Me, that's how I was.
Okay.
I was involved in that.
Okay.
A lot don't do that. They're let me assemble the Avengers. Just how many Avengers can I assemble
Yeah.
that are in my? It's not even just your in my state and adjoining states, right?
Yeah.
That we get to come in, and we could probably say, man, that's great. Those teams are amazing. Well, the problem is if you're here and your top players in Oregon and your other top players in Arizona and the other ones in Hawaii, y'all not practicing during the week.
Yeah.
You're not. You're just not. So now they may have their trainers and all that, and hopefully those trainers are working on fundamentals, but those are individual moves because there's also fundamentals that come with a team
Yeah.
concept,
Yeah.
right? Right. So one, I hope you're getting the individual stuff, but two, you can't be getting the team stuff with the timing and screens and slips and all those things and the spacing. You can't be getting it because you guys aren't together practicing.
Yeah.
Right. Uh,
I saw when I was coaching, and this was, 5 years ago, Laverne Magic. I mean, the lower levels, we were practicing, the 11, 12-year-old groups, we would practice on our nights that we were supposed to practice. But those upper level teams, 15, 16, 17, those older levels, you'd see them come in and they'd get some runs in. But during the weekend when they would have games, it'd be a whole different team. Like, I'm like, who were these guys? You know what I mean? They just make phone calls. Your your microphone. Say hello.
one, two, three,
Okay,
four.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it would just be a whole different team. And I'm like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't even come to practice and they get out there and play. And it's like they're not running plays. They just looked all over the place, but they were supposed to be superstars, but it didn't look like a well-ran oil machine. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the heck is going on?
so you can't. So I think this era can make tougher shots.
Hmm.
Sometimes I do. I think they can make tougher shots, but they don't have the fundamentals to consistently take and make the good shot at a good clip. The fundamental shot. Just and if y'all don't believe me, turn on any, I don't care, high school or club. This all I want you to see. Somebody catch it, rip it, one dribble, and pull up. That's all I want you. What you're probably gonna get is a catch, rip, in and out, step back. You're gonna get something of that sort.
Yeah.
Like very rarely, you just gonna get a rip, one dribble, and I'm up, which is a fundamental thing. It is a basic thing. We've
Yeah.
taught when I was coaching college, we taught it at my junior college for 10 years. And every year we was one of the top field goal percentage teams in the country every year because we took good shots that we repped out. We practiced the fundamentals of them, right? And we did it every day.
Yeah.
And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I know I don't see that, right? You're more liable to see a step back before you see somebody close out hard, somebody shot fake rip and go by them to pull up.
Yeah.
You're you're gonna see something else, which
Yeah.
is insane. So that means you didn't even read the defender. I watch players beat defenders, CC. They beat the defender to bring the defender back into play because they're playing around with the basketball. And it's like fundamentally, that's the wrong play.
Yeah.
Do the right play. Day long closeout, I rip, help defense there, I pull up, right? Or I jump stop, I make the two-hand pass, right? You're not even seeing that. And
Yeah.
so I do think that the
I
fundamental,
I just think that's because of the entertainment aspect of it though, right? A lot of people, or the highlight, it's a highlight game now, right? Adam Silver just made a comment about, somebody was asking him about if there's going to be more free games viewable on TV this year. And he said, well, yeah, but it really doesn't matter because NBA is a highlight game. You could catch it anywhere, like the highlights. And it's like, is this what we've come to now? And what are
And
you feeding the player's mind?
I think at the grassroots level, I don't think the entertainment piece is at the forefront of the decisions they make in the game.
Yeah.
Like, and when
Grassroots. Yeah.
I'm talking about the decision, I'm talking consistently, like the consistent. Obviously, if you're on a breakaway and you want to, do whatever, Hannah her dog go between the leg, Gigi, I get it. Like you're on a break, I get it. But most of the time, they're not thinking like that. They're thinking to do whatever this little dribble move I worked on by myself, right, against this cone, and they're going to do whatever that is. And normally that's not the fundamental play. It's something that someone wanted to add to their bag, the
Gotcha.
bag, right? Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But a lot of these are paper bag. A lot of these are paper bags.
Yeah.
Paper bags, CC.
With holes in them. With holes in them. So the shit just falls right through.
It's akin to everybody swearing they're a point guard, point forward, point. You'll quickly know who the point guard is when that pressure comes. When
Yeah.
that pressure come in the game, all of a sudden, what happened to all these point forwards and lead guard? To somewhere they go somewhere
Yeah.
because you're just somebody that dribbled a lot and had some decent dribbling skills at your size and height. Never was you a point guard,
Yeah.
right? Never was you reading the floor, having awareness, playing in pace, right? Knowing when to get yours, knowing when to make sure I'm feeding others, feeding them on time and accurate in their sweet spots. You wasn't doing all of those things, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it's akin to that, right? Fundamentals are key. They will never go away. The stronger your fundamental foundation is, and I think if you have that, and then you're doing all this stuff, right? Then you become Juju. As good as Juju is, let me tell
Yeah.
you, not see a lot of. Juju's not a fancy player.
She's not. I mean,
Ju-
I broke her film down and it's like she's just
I,
so fundamentally sound, man. She
I can take you through, and I'm not going. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna just say this, and we'll be about off topic for about 20 seconds. If you look at the top 10 of all-time women scorers, the top 10 all-time NBA scorers of all time, college, men, NBA, WNBA, there's not a lot of fancy people up there.
look at Maya Moore. She didn't have no fancy I mean, she was a straight fundamental baller.
Diane Moore, Diane
Yeah.
Taurasi,
Yep,
no.
Diana Taurasi.
Ron, Kobe, no. They're not the. That's not them. It was precision. It was efficiency. It was skill. It was the ability to score at multiple levels.
Yep.
Get a sweet spot. The can I get it in the least amount of dribbles and moves to get this good shot for me, right? And that was appreciated
Yeah.
in value. Now people say, "Oh man, I know you scored 40,000 points because you ain't got no bag." Who cares? If I could Kareem and skyhook this thing over and over and over, I'm gonna do it. If I'm Sylvia Fowles and I can catch it right at the block and turn over my left shoulder 5, 6 times a game, I'm going to do it. There's no need.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, don't get me started. That's one of my soapboxes,
Yeah,
CC.
so let me bring it back around to AAU. So how is AAU going to be able to get back to that, or will they be able to get back to that?
It won't. The more money that trickles down, right? Because remember, people getting NIL in high school now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the more money is funneled in, you teach what you allow. It's teaching them that we're allowing this brand of basketball to flourish monetarily, right? And because of that, it's not going to go backwards. You're going to have to hope that you get with a team that has a lot of local players or players. When I say local, you're within 2 to 3 hours of that team so they all can practice consistently. You're going to have to be on a team that has that setup. And then the coach has to value player development. They don't. They value assembling the Avengers. And I get it, right? Because you're going to go play Avengers. I get it. You want college prospects. I get it. A lot of people aren't doing the fundamental teaching. So then that's why there's a gap between AAU and high school, because they're like, well, high school's supposed to do that. They got them longer. They got them
Yeah.
more. Um, well, hopefully you go and they value teaching. A lot of people just value putting my system in and you fitting into my system.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it for 4 years with my son, you
And
know?
whatever that requires, I'll give you that. But they're gonna, so AAU puts it off on the high school coach. The high school coach then puts it off on your trainer.
Yeah. And then what happens when these players go to college? Then it's back to that same, coach is picking on me or coach is mean or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just a cycle that money is just changing the dynamics of everything. And some of it's good and some of it is just not. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Totally agree. So the answer to your question, I don't think we're going back. I don't think we're going back. I don't think there will be an emphasis on it. I do not. I'm not saying I want it to be that way. I just don't see it. I don't see people saying, man, I can see the value in this, and this is what I got to do. And I'm going to have the makeup of my team in such a way that I can give this to these players. I can, like, you're having top players that can't do a jump hook, that
Yeah.
can't drop step over both shoulders, right? They can't turn and face at the nail. First of all, they may not even know what the nail is.
Yeah.
They're not even, it's crazy. I have this whole thing on terminology. I don't know. It's scheduled to go out on the one of my social media graphics. I don't know when it'll populate, but I have
Well,
terms.
that's good because I don't know terminology either, to be honest with you. I mean, because it changes all the time. I had Coach Nikki on my podcast and I asked her, block or box out? You know what I mean? I block out or box out because I
But if
don't know
you,
all the terminology.
but even if you don't know them all, you're gonna know the basic ones.
Yeah, I know the basic ones.
Because if you don't know the basic ones, you're gonna go to college and you're gonna be like, okay, on the line, up the line. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
In the gap of what? Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're gonna be at the come down into the slot. We're gonna have a two-man front in the slot. Hey, let's X out action, dribble action, get a DHO from the DHO. Hey, you come from the nail. We're gonna nice screen, two-man game there. If the pocket is there or not, you have somebody in the weak side corner ready for the three. All right, let's go. And that's it. That's it.
I don't know what the hell you just said, but I'm not a college player, so you
I'll give you
gotta give me the Gen X terminology.
I'll give you
Give me the Gen X terminology.
the great teacher. Lindsay's one of the great teachers you will find.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the pace of the teaching is going to change, right? Because there's a standard here. There's so much we got to get through to get ready for the season, right? So I'm at practice, and I love the beginning of the year, CC. I love it because I like to look at the freshmen' faces when stuff is given out, right? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and she tells them what to do, and they kind of look, and so she turns, and her and Beth, you know, go to the sidelines, and then I watch the players. I'm like, but then the players do a great job with da da da. Now, don't get me wrong, if you mess up, Beth and Lindsay are amazing at, okay, no. You turn it over because of this, da da da. This is what
Yeah.
I, right? But teaching it, there's some coaches who are, you may get it told to you twice.
Yeah.
I'm saying you may get it told to you twice, which is why in my personal camp settings, I do it from a college level. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's seventh and eighth grade. Hey, we're about to have four full transitions. In the full transitions, we're kicking it up deep corner. It's not going to be there. Reverse it. Hey, weak side to the lag pass. You get it DHO. Come off of that. We got a two-man game. Hey, coming back down, we're going to run the same action, reverse it into a stagger. We're going to run the same action out of a four high, out of a zipper. But what is zipper, coach? Okay, well, let me tell you, because you're going to hear this, right? A lot.
Yeah.
And what happens at the college level, CC players will get there and they're embarrassed to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
embarrassed to say, I don't know. So you may go 2 weeks where you're just kind of trying to get it on the fly. You ain't saying nothing, but that means you're not running as fast as you normally would because you're thinking,
Yeah.
right? You're not moving in flow. You're not messing up because you're kind of catching on, but you're really behind, right?
Yeah.
So now you're 2 weeks behind. Hey, maybe you roll your ankle, and now you're like a month behind, and you still don't really know it.
Yeah.
We didn't even put no plays in. We put structure in with the terminology. That's why I say the terminology is important. And some people use different terminology, but for the most part, you're going to hear some of the similar things, right? You're
Yeah.
going to hear some of the similar um, terms, and you may say, "Hey, we're going to trap the ball screen."
Yeah.
People are going to say, some people are going to say blitz. Yes, baby, give me a second. We're going to say blitz the ball screen, right? And so it may be like that. And so a coach may be like,
Yeah.
oh, what I mean is this. So you may get some similar things like that where one uses that's tomato, tomato, right? But for the most part, you better have an understanding of what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you said that Lindsay and Beth are really good teachers and I know you had the opportunity to go watch them practice, and I recently went to do the same thing, and I thought it was interesting the way they take their time, and then when the kids do something wrong, they're quick to correct, but in a good way. You know what I mean? And this is why this happened, and this is what you need to do, and you got beat because of this, and so on and so forth. So I just thought it was really a cool experience to go watch that. And I think that players, they need to understand that they're freshmen and they're not going to know everything, and if they don't know, they should just ask. You know what I mean?
Freshmen, please ask. Please, please ask.
Yeah.
If you will get behind, you got school. This ain't men's basketball where they half ass go to class. You're going to class, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got school. Maybe you got some NIL deliverables. You got some other
Yeah.
stuff you want to do in this city that you chose to do it in. And it can feel like it gets on top of you real quick when you can help yourself
Yeah.
asking those questions. It's okay. I much rather and let me just tell you straight up before you do it 4 possessions in a row. Then
Yeah.
now I gotta come be like, bro, what are we doing? We don't because they don't have as they don't college teams do not have as much time as we think they have. And they
No, they don't.
less now with all because they gotta have space, CC, to allow you to do these deliverables for these.
Yeah.
So I gotta
Yeah.
have
It's
space for
crazy.
you to do that. So there's just not as much time together as there has been in previous years.
Yeah. Now, before we end, I just want to say that I hope AAU, I know you're saying that it's not going to go back, but I hope that something comes around to where they understand that the players matter and that the players understand that they matter, and getting better for their future is really important, not just to come to these AAU games just to show out and not be a team player and not know fundamentals. And I will always be a huge advocate on fundamentals in basketball, because when you know your fundamentals in basketball, that's when the game is pretty. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Well, I have a question for you, and I will pose this too. Should guest players be allowed in club basketball?
No. And let me tell you, I don't think so, because that to me, that's entitlement. Again, what are you teaching that player? You know what I mean? That they're entitled to come in and play as a guest when all these other players been probably practicing together. That's not fair to me. You know what I mean? And like I said, I used to see it. There's a lot of stuff that I used to see with AAU birth certificates, but we won't even go down the line on that. You know what I mean? I mean, so and why would you put players in that position, you know, play them at their age that they're supposed to be playing at? So that's a whole nother conversation. But I hope there's some regulation on AAU basketball, just like there needs to be some regulation on college basketball. Now, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about USC women's basketball. Since you did get to go see them, I know that they weren't doing an all-out practice or whatever the case may be, but a lot of people are not giving USC a thought, since JuJu probably won't be playing this year. But I keep trying to tell people, y'all tripping. That this team is going to be better than people think or
And
giving them credit for.
look, I'm gonna go see Lindsay again because I do it every year. I go and I tell her what I believe is gonna happen, and I left before I got a chance to tell her. So I'm gonna go watch again. But let me tell you what USC can do. They will be able to defend the hell out of the perimeter.
Yep.
I mean, they have from London, Malia, Kennedy, Jazzy.
And Kara.
like those, right? Those right there, just defensively are a problem. I'm talking a major problem defensively, like ball hawking, active hands, with physicality, the balance. Then you got the speed with that, with some of them, the versatility of it. Like Jassie's a really good defender, and
Yeah,
she's
I know.
really,
And she's
really
taller. I mean, she's long.
extremely long.
Yeah.
And so they'll definitely. I mean, every team has a weakness. I think for USC, and I'm sure Lindsay would say it, would be, making sure we rebound the way we need to rebound. So I think their pace is going to be faster. I think
Oh yeah.
the pressure defense is going to ramp up from a full court perspective because you're trying to really not. I'm not even trying to get into a whole lot of let you just bang me down here, in the half
Yeah.
court. That's my perspective. This is me. This is not what they told me. This is my perspective of that. So I think we're going to get a lot of that. Who I believe will emerge as I don't care what her stats say at Auburn. I think she was at Auburn.
I was gonna bring her up. Yeah, yeah, Kia Milton. Man, I was gonna bring her up.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. The growth plate, on your knees, they say, oh, your growth plate's still open. Up here, the growth plate is, I think, pairing her with Lindsay and how Lindsay teaches and how Beth teaches and the encouragement with Courtney and the staff. I just watched her mind like go like this, and the motor, the length. Um, I think I think they'll take a committee approach, but I think she will be like such a fact. I believe in the end.
Hey, look, I keep telling folks, y'all, just because a player didn't play doesn't mean that they're not going to show up for their next team. Because I still believe that Yakia at Auburn was in the wrong system. Now, but let me. I don't know if you know this or not, but she was playing in a summer league out here for I forgot it was called the Carson team,
Yes,
some
I know.
Carson team. She was defensive player of the year. And what does USC really rely on their bigs for? Rhea, right?
Mhm.
They're defensive, guard the rim, protect the rim. You know what I mean? And
Level out ball screens.
Yakia is a true 6'5". You know what I mean? And she's not even fully thickened
Athletic.
out yet.
I'm telling you, I believe that she plays some significant minutes for USC, and she's going to have an impact.
Yeah.
She's going to have an impact. That's as we get ready to end the pot. I'm dying on the hill with her having a major impact. And when I say major, coming from I think like 2.1 points a game there because of
Auburn. Yeah.
whatever opportunities, right, or lack thereof. I think there's minutes at
Yep.
4 and 5. I think there's opportunity. I think there's teaching. I think she's a sponge. I think she has some gifts that can be accentuated in this system,
Yeah.
right? This one alone. And I would not be, it doesn't sound like a lot. I would not be surprised if she ended the season at 9 to 10 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, got a lot of blocks, and altered things
Yeah.
defensively. I would not be surprised.
And she's only a sophomore. It's not like she's a transfer came in as a senior, right? She's young.
I would not be surprised. I
Yeah.
think there's an opportunity there for all the bigs to
Look
really.
at I want to see Gerda. I want to see what Gerda can do. Now, what I'm understanding, she's
She
really good.
wasn't there, by the way. She wasn't at
Yeah,
the practice. I was there,
she's
but
really good on a perimeter, and she's
Mhm.
really good at the pick and roll, which is part of Lindsay's forte, right? Having the bigs come out to the perimeter and being able to do that pick and roll. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what role she's going to play for the team and how much Viv has improved. And Laura Williams, remember Laura Williams before she got hurt last year was going to play some minutes because of her rebounding and her dog mentality. You know what I mean? And then she got hurt. So I just think,
Laura looks
huh?
Laura looks strong.
Yeah. I just think that, people can, you know, don't talk about USC. That's all I'm gonna say. Like they said the year of the Ivies, don't talk about us. Don't
Yes,
talk about us. Y'all think we have a weak front court. Maybe it's not the strongest, in the conference, but I think the mixture of talent that Lindsay has put together, and she does a really good. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I'm when I look at all the teams, break down all the teams in the Big Ten, I continually look at the way Lindsay puts her teams together to make it fit what she wants to do year after year. And
Mm-hmm.
going into it, she knew that she probably wasn't going to have JuJu this year. Who knows? JuJu may come back. Who
Hmm.
knows? But she had to do what she had to do to make this team the best it could be without JuJu. I think
I
people are
think she.
slipping. Yep, I think people are slipping on Kara from Georgia Tech, and I
Mhm.
think people are slipping on Jazzy.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like Kara averaged like 16 points a game.
No, I don't get it.
Like
She's a dog, man. She can drive that ball too.
she's a little banged up, but once she's fully going, fully man, listen, she knows how to play. That kid knows how to play basketball. She's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
She's tough. And she's versatile, right? She's gonna be a versatile piece. And so I'm excited, man. Y'all know I'm a Lindsay apologist, so I believe in Lindsay. You know, if they had a little button like they got for Democrats and Republicans, I have a little button right here that says I believe in Lindsay because um, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. Lindsay has consistently, whenever they've counted her out, Lindsay shows up. She shows, and she's gonna get it done again.
And you know, and she ain't the one thing that I really have a lot of respect for Lindsay about is she's about the players, man. She doesn't have to be the forefront of the team. She doesn't have to be the one getting all the, the cameras in front of her and trying to, be I am who she is. You know what I mean? Lindsay is in the background, just taking her notebook and writing her notes, and studying what she needs to study, and she lets her team be the forefront and everything. And I really have mad respect for her for being that way because she's a quiet assassin and people don't realize that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, all right, y'all. That's it for today. Look, Cameo, I'm so glad you're back, my friend. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah,
Thank
keep your head up. Stay optimistic. Stay positive, and keep doing your thing. And we'll talk soon. And everybody else, hey, you know what it is. Fight on.